Welcome back to CrackShot TV, guys. Today we have a special topic. We are going to discuss different options for mounting pistol red dots. Now, there are three main options for slide-mounted options. So there's three major options. The first option that we're going to discuss is mounts via a dovetail replacement, where a plate replaces your rear sight and you can mount the red dot onto the plate. The second option that we're going to talk about is the plate option built into certain slide systems. So for example, this is a Canik TP9 SFX. It comes with different adapter plates that mount directly lower onto the slide, and then you can place the red dot sight onto the plate itself, and this way the pistol can be compatible with a number of different red dot sights. Lastly, we're going to talk about direct mount to the slide. So in this scenario, the slide is milled in such a way that the red dot for a specific type of pattern, in this case RMR, is going to be mounted directly onto the slide itself. Now, each has its pros and cons. We're going to talk about which ones are best, which ones are worst, and the different applications of each. But let's start off with the worst way to mount a red dot onto your pistol. Let's start with this dovetail mount. So, what are the disadvantages of this? Well, one thing that you'll see is that this makes the optic sit very high up on the pistol. So what you end up with is a very high height over bore for the pistol. Now on a pistol, you're essentially considering them to be flat shooting, so you want your sights to be as close to the barrel as possible. An example is if you put suppressor height sights on a pistol, you'll see that the shots start hitting lower than your point of aim if you're using, say, a combat hold. And the same is true about mounting a red dot this high up on the pistol. Your red dot is going to end up being quite a bit higher than the actual barrel. Now, why is this a problem? Well, some red dots, actually, you won't be able to adjust the lower setting far enough that your point of impact will equal your point of aim. If it's mounted this high, that can generally be a pretty big problem on many different red dots. Another reason why you might want to go this route is if you don't want to modify the stock gun. These pistols, for example, oftentimes resell better if they're left in a stock configuration. Doing certain modifications like adding a stipple to the grip or undercutting the frame often can devalue the price of the firearm, or it's a little bit harder to sell. You might be able to sell it for the same price, but it typically doesn't add value to it. The same is true of milling slides to a certain extent. Sometimes if you mill the slide, you may actually cause a devaluation on the pistol. So if you want to try a red dot before fully committing to it, you can easily change out the rear sight with very little effort. I have a video on how to do that and how to install an adapter plate if you check my other videos. But you may not want to actually go all the way with getting somebody to mill the slide. Or on some firearms, milling the slide isn't even an option. So this may actually be your only option, depending on how widely available milling services are for your specific firearm. So overall, I would not go this route if there are other routes. Let's talk about the mounting plate system. So this Canik TP9 SFX has a mounting plate. It comes with 4 plates that allows us to switch to different pattern red dots. And that is awesome if you're wanting to try a few different optics out on your pistol before committing to a specific optic. Now there's a few reasons why I don't like this setup. And the reasons for that is that the height over bore, again, is higher than it could be if you were able to mount directly towards the bottom of the milled slide. So you're still kind of sitting on top of the slide here with this type of setup. Again, on some sites with elevation, that can be a problem where it can't elevate low enough to hit point of impact. So you may have to zero your red dot above point of impact and always do a holdover then. That could be one problem. Another issue of this approach, again, is its 2 points of mounting. So even though this is more secure than the dovetail mount, if for some reason your screws come loose on the plate, then you also have to worry about your screws coming loose on the sight itself. So there's 2 points of attachment rather than just one. Overall, this is still pretty capable. I do shoot this gun this way. As compared to this is much better to shoot. So go down this route if you want modularity, but if you want peak performance, you're wanting to go with a slide that's directly cut for your optic. So for example, here I have a Glock 34, and the slide is milled all the way down so that the optic can sit lower on the slide. That's going to give you a very low height over bore, very similar to what you get specifically with suppressor sights. maybe even a lower depending on how low the slide is milled for the optic. I really like this setup. This one in particular is a Brownell's Glock 34 slide. And the reason I like the Brownells is the mounting posts on this slide are designed in such a way that they were able to mill the slide very, very low so the optic can sit super low on the pistol, but also the posts make this thing very secure. So this thing isn't coming off. The biggest pro of this is only one attachment point. This is definitely the best way as far as security and keeping the red dot mounted down tightly. This is the best way for this thing not to come loose. Another advantage is that if you have suppressor height sights as backups, you can co-witness them with this, whereas you can't necessarily do that with the mounting plate very easily. So yeah, I like this option best, guys. Of the three, I would recommend going down this route. Again, the advantages are you don't have to modify the gun very much for this. This allows for a lot of versatility with trying a bunch of different optics. This is best for performance. Guys, if you like this video, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. Those things help us incredibly. You don't know how much you guys mean the world to us, and each like, each comment, each subscription really makes our day. So I would highly appreciate if you consider doing that. And also check out Mars Training Simulators. We build training simulators that help you train and dry fire in your home. Remember, dry fire skills are learned in the home. They're not learned at the range. You are testing your skills when you go to the range. You are learning the skills when you're at home. That's our philosophy here at Mars Training and here at CRACKSHOT. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. We'll see you soon. Always remember, train often and be safe.